I got a story.
Yeah, what's up? Hit me with it.
So my son started school recently.
Okay.
I put him on the school bus this week. And as they were driving away, I blew a kiss, said goodbye.
Yeah.
3 kids blew kisses back at me. Not one of them was my son. Kids, am I right? It's nice to know I'm loved.
Yeah.
I guess by everybody else's
just
kids.
not your son.
It was a little uncomfortable.
The one person you maybe wanted to, but at least there's someone out there for you.
Okay, VIP Zeke. He named himself VIP Zeke, so I don't know if he's really a VIP or not. How much does team chemistry matter if the players are just flat out awesome?
It absolutely matters. You have seen, off the top of my head, I can't think of one specific one because I'm put on the spot right now. But it's not uncommon to know of like players that are really good but on a team that are just not performing. In fact, actually, old school Tempo Storm, you could argue that was the case because Zampo was like putting up huge numbers, but as a full squad, they weren't finding the tools that they needed to succeed.
I mean, they won WSOE.
Sharp Shot won WSOE.
God, do you remember that picture of all of them staring lovely
Yeah,
at Sharp
and he was
Shot?
just standing there just looking at the camera.
Let's reenact. You do the stance, and they were all like this. Thanks for winning it for us. Oh, it's our last Funzy segment of the day, and I made a promise.
Okay.
I'm going to keep it.
Okay.
Shout out to Gunner for figuring this out. The song is called, are you ready for this? Because it's going to blow your mind. Force. And the album is called KPM Trailerized. So I don't think there's a whole lot more to it than that. It was made by like multiple artists, but it's a fun song, right? That's the song. That's the song. Force.
Yes.
I don't know if you'll be able to find it. He still said there's like no way for him to download it.
No, I think the clip that he had was like unlisted.
Unlisted. All right, they said wrap it up. Favorite food served in a tortilla?
Taco?
Burrito.
Ah.
Welcome back. Match 3 in the books. Let's look at the scores after that one. Tempo, 16 points. Ghost coming in second, Cameron. And E United in third. Some teams that need to make a play. Trying to make it happen. Is it big enough?
I mean, Ghost and United have had 2 solid games in a row. So Simplicity, they had a great first game, but once again on the right side of the leaderboard for the Miramar matches, I was banking on Simplicity, like basically blocking United and Ghost this entire weekend, but I'm starting to fall back on that prediction because it's not looking to be the case.
I'm curious to see where it goes. Lots of teams fighting for London as it has called to them. On the opposite side, teams struggling to not be relegated. Here they are. Stand so far. 5 games left to play. United, look how close they've come to Simplicity. Ghost Gaming has also closed the gap. I think that may end up being one of our big stories here going forward is who takes over those spots. Endemic and Smoking Aces, who we haven't really talked about, Cameron, so far, like having to worry about losing those top 10 position, they're getting like dangerously close.
Yeah, why I wasn't so worried for them is because they need both Ghost and E United and Simplicity to all have a really good weekend for both of them to fall out.
Welcome back to the official analyst desk. Me llamo Es Toffees. I'm joined by Cameron, the OGN Super Arena behind us. And I think that's what it comes down to. They needed to have big games. We were a little bit like, man, it's probably not going to happen. Both of them sort of pulling it together here on the last weekend is a stretch. E United came out of the NPL Royale with a new confidence. They seem to have maybe found their footing in playing more aggressively, and it's showing. By the same token, Ghost feels like Shrimzy's starting to settle in, and they're getting their tempo back.
Yeah, and for Ghost, it's also just adjusting their calling. We don't know for sure. I have heard conflicted stories on who's been doing the in-game leading throughout the majority of Phase 1, but either way, it was a change that they made for NPL Royale. You saw them do really good on the qualification day. Weren't so hot on the finals of that, but nonetheless, they came back. Last week wasn't great, but now they're hitting it. Shrimzy coming in, they didn't have the immediate honeymoon that we saw Envy have, but they're looking good so far. They can finish out this last game on air and go solid.
Real talk. Yeah. Real talk. They came into the season during preseason. They seemed very confident and I think overconfident. They had a mentality of everyone's chasing us. You know, we're just the best. And I think that this has been kind of an awakening for them over the last couple of weeks. They had to change the roster. They had to find what works for them. And it seems like they've got the right mentality. It's come back. They're mentally looking at these games more aggressively. They're looking at how do we get deeper, how do we get more kills, and how do we get up the leaderboard instead of sort of just assuming they'd be in the top 6 because they're that good.
Yeah, and by my account, they made a change too late. I feel like we're still in the early days of PUBG. We're still in the area that people are too afraid to, I guess, make the roster moves, but you hear it from all these other games. It's better to make the move too early than too late if you want to stay at the top.
Oh, they made it the last literal possible second.
Yeah.
They're stuck with it now, and we're getting ready to go to the next game. Before we move to Game 4, let's take a look back at Game 3. Roll those highlights, Cameron.
Highlights, Miramar. That means open shots, and Walt Jr. taking the shots can land them onto Sub-Zero.
Walt Jr. got some good shots. I will say he was the target of probably one of the craziest memes I've seen this week, but he did not let it bounce off of him. He's playing well. He's doing his best work that he can tonight. Hypoc getting those long-range shots. He has been an absolute aggro monster today. Every time we show Hypoc, he seems like he's in front and looking for a fight.
Yeah, Y10 Fate, they had a little bit of a struggle this time. They kept trying to push into the zone. Were held out by Simplicity. They do wipe them, but a little bit too late because, look, they're getting sprayed out in the open. It's not a lot they can do in this position.
But they got a decent kill count, and that's what's important. They're taking the risks early, sure. Maybe you go out in 13th, I think they did, but you get as many kills as your 5th or 6th place team, so you run up some good numbers.
This was a funny engagement. Ghost come in, steal the combat away from Envy. Envy actually try and leap out, but with good nade usage, as well as just, I don't know, aim by Ghost, they do punish Envy. Well, my assumption is that Envy just tried to get a separate angle and they didn't want to be, I guess, quarantined inside the building, but the high ground that Ghost steal from them ends up working in their favor.
Ghost was envious of their position, takes them out, forces them out of the building, and drops them. Now we jump over to Soapylicious. Let's go to the pit. Let's go to STK. And the fact that they laid in the Gravedigger's ditch here for a hot minute and actually caused a lot of trouble. Because of that position, they ended up ruining Ghost's chance for a 4v4 there and essentially giving the win over to the SDK guys.
You heard it from Dre there on the interview, though, that the minute that they heard shots, they were able to track who was up and who wasn't.
Yeah.
They saw the shots, they saw that McCoy got down, and they immediately wrapped and flooded over. That is how you play an endgame, and that is what won Tempo Storm most, if not all, of their games.
Absolutely. We'll take a look at that when we get to the final fight replay, but let's take a look at the plane from the last match. Another great plane right down the middle, essentially on a diagonal. Lots of loot options. You can see Lazarus going all the way up there on the northwest, all the way to the southeast, and the circle says, you know what? Let's play nice, and picks a relatively centerized position.
Yeah, it eventually gets there. It was a little bit of a western one, which is actually counter to the plane, so in a way it's quite even, but it ends up ending dead center with a couple of hard shifts. Let's look at the rotations from Ghost as well as Tempo Storm from the bottom. Once again, both coming in from opposite sides.
Yep.
It seems to be a trend today for Miramar.
If you can clear your rear and secure your slice of the pie, it's your chance to be here as the eye in the sky looks down on the final fight. Now, Purdy Curdy caused a lot of trouble in the Gravedigger's ditch as he ended up coming out, popping up, and hurting Ghost. Ghost and Tempo made the right call. 4 and 4, clear your side, then fight each other. The problem was they weren't prepared for how strong STK's rooted position was, Cameron.
Well, at least this one, the one that Tempo Storm came across, I believe it was Ayla, went down pretty quickly, but it was finding the dip that Purdy Curdy had that allowed him to be, I guess, the wrench in the plans of Ghost and Tempo Storm. Capitalized only 6 kills. It's definitely low, especially by their standards, but a win is a win, and they have only re-widened that gap between first and second off of it.
I love that it shows the flexibility of Tempo Storm's style. They don't have to always go for the big kills, but we're gonna get to watch them again. Match 4, return to Erangel. Tempo Storm, Shoot to Kill, Team Envy, and Cloud9. 1 through 4 are the teams that we will be keeping an eye on. And as we watch them, you'll also want to be keeping an eye on some of these teams in 5th and 6th place, trying to push up on them. All right, last game of the day. We're going to talk about the teams, Cameron. Tell me about Team Envy.
Envy, a fun team, a team that just went through a roster move of picking up Moody. Amazing week 1 with the pickup. A little bit of a struggle today, I have to say. They were about to take 2nd place, and they're now down in 4th. Certainly a good position to be in, but they need to find a way to kind of tighten up the bootstraps and solidify that spot. They can frag out. They have the record for number of kills in a single win on 22. They just need to bring that back on the final game of Erangel.
Bring it back. Bring Moody back to the chair. During our fun segment, somebody asked about Moody's hair, and I got to say, it does look like it's pretty on point tonight.
The higher the hair, the higher the kill count?
Is that... Guess that's a thing. If that's the case, then you and Matchroom should be dominating in our pub games. All right, let's take a look at our second team, Cloud9. Lobes has joined. He seems to really thrive in their drop point on Erangel. This is a team that I think does significantly better on that map. K-Mind is one of those players that if you're in the final 3 teams and K-Mind is still standing, it's a terrible thought, right? Because he plays that map so gosh darn effectively. We've got the rest of the guys. Profi and Nerf have been incredibly strong. Profi's putting up some of the longest survival times in the tournament, in addition to really good frag rates. So this team feels like they're really finding their stride, and I think they'll go to London.
Yeah.
And if they don't, I would just be terrified of them in split 2.
Oh, yeah. Very strong team.
All right, the next team we want to take a look at is STK.
Yeah, STK, they have been criticized in the past for being a boring team, but if being boring gets you into a solid 2nd place within shooting range of 1st place, I'll take that any day. And I also disagree with that. I think they're a very, very exciting team to watch. If they get, we've said it time and time again, but it rings true. If they get 4 up in the final circle, you are hard-pressed to find a game that they do not win.
Absolutely. The Iron Men of PUBG stepping up yet again. Let's see what they can bring. And our final featured team has to be the emerging North American dynasty that is Tempo Storm. We've been watching them for a long time, Cameron. They've got one of the endemic rosters that has been here for a long time. We talk about Dre and Maluk together. They brought on Zampa from the Corn Shuckers forever ago.
Yeah.
And then they finally found the last piece of the puzzle with Sharky. He seems to be fitting in very, very well. And the question then becomes, how do you beat them? And I think the only answer is with a stick while they're sleeping, because in a game with guns, these boys seem unbeatable, and I can't wait to see what they bring, not only to the rest of the tournament, but to London.
Whenever you think they're down and out, they come back and get another win. Happened last week, it happened today.
And we'll see if it happens again. It is time. That is it for us, Cameron. We're done for the day. We love all of you. Let's send it over to the Fates that will be walking you through the last match of the day. WTF Moses, Matchroom, and the Porosaurus himself.
Thank you so much, Toffees. Yes, indeed. We are headed back to Erangel. It's the last game of the day, and we are at the penultimate stage here as we head into the final day of split number 1. It is indeed true. I'm Moses, Matchroom, and Porosaurus all rolled into one. I'm Matorosaurus.
You're everything. All combined. You're all of us.
All right, so
and yet none of us.
Tempo Storm getting a little bit more of a lead there, getting some more comfort. Naturally, they're about 35 points ahead now. But Shoot to Clill and Cloud9, 1 point separates the two of them for second place.
Absolutely, it's getting very tight there at the top of the leaderboard there, Poro.
Yeah, I mean, and look, Envy has kind of, they keep getting themselves in good position, but they're not really gaining a whole lot of ground here. So Y10 Fate still within striking distance going into tomorrow. The final day, obviously everything going to be set up at the end of the day going into tomorrow to see who's going to be our final top 4, who's going to be our #1 winner over everything over the entire first split, most importantly.
And most importantly, it is time for match number 4 as we head into Erangel once again. And this is the game I think we've been talking about. Y10 Fate, they obviously had a very strong win earlier in the day. They need another strong game here. They picked up 7 kill points in the last game, but that did not translate into a good placement. They just kind of got washed out on the edge of the circle. So Y10 Fate starting at Rozhok, looking to have a breakout performance here.
That's kind of what I keep an eye on. Envy, Y10 Fate, like there's a gap there, but it could be closed. Naturally, again, Tempo Storm, can they keep this up? It seems like, again, it's just like a tease. Every single time somebody starts sneaking up to them, they're like, nah, man.
Swat them down. Well, they're playing with their food here, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem when you have to catch up with somebody, but the people that you have to catch up with are the best teams in the lobby consistently. I mean, it doesn't matter even if you have a relatively decent game. They're still finding themselves in the top 3 fighting for first, and you're still struggling to catch up.
Yeah, it feels like relatively decent game for any of the top 4 teams is just a problem at this point. All of them just wants to have the absolute best games. Well, I know everybody always wants to, but they need to have it right now.
Yeah, that's one of the points that I know you're talking about Envy, looking at them here. Coming into today, Venerated had 16 revives. Anyone want to guess how many... No, guessing is not reading my paper, Matt.
No, I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about.
He's cheating. He's just
I've
like
got
the
my own piece of paper.
Patriots.
Look, I've got it.
I swear.
Here, look, I'll even put a little dot
Anyway,
over there next to your 16
what I was
revives,
going to
too, on my piece of
say
paper.
was that Venerated has 16 revives. The next person closest to him is Interrogate with 9. Wow. So a big difference there for Venerated. Being the leader of the team sometimes means you got to be the mom as well, picking everyone up when they scrape their little kneesies.
That is true. That is true. Well, we talk about Envy, and look at it, the little interesting spot here for Envy, looting up in the Milta Power area before having to make this transition into this first circle. This could be an interesting circle. We see some violent games when we get these north-central circles as teams try to rush to get into those hills early. And the long wraps around the northern edge.
It's always about that river. Whenever you get one of those circles, that river just bisects straight through it and it makes everybody have to pick north or south. Circle goes in opposite direction and then chaos ensues.
Yeah, and that's the issue now with teams are going to have to decide because it's pretty much a 50-50 split at this stage.
Yeah.
We're going to see some teams probably rotating around that eastern side, trying to come up around the Yasnaya fields. But if that circle shifts south, you just said it, Matchroom, it makes you have to have a much tougher rotate coming back south. So we'll see now with Y10 Fate, again, being the center of attention literally here with Rozhok being their position, what they're going to do. Are they going to cross? Are they going to try and split? What's the game plan here?
Well, in the past, when we've seen circles kind of with this 50-50 to the north, we see Y10 Fate try to take that cube position over there, over towards Georgia Pole, where they try to gatekeep a little bit of traffic coming in there from the western edge. But this time the circle a little bit more centralized. I don't know if we'll see them take that same position. Maybe they go for those hills just to the north of shooting range where we see so many teams be so successful playing those hills.
Honestly, if they're wanting to go for something like that in a circle that's set up this way, where we can actually see Valiant is already repositioned just to the north of Rozhok. There's those couple of bridges. You can potentially catch some nice rotations through there. People could do long distance rotations, but there you go. Talking about it, Valiant was looking in this direction. position. So I'm kind of curious, is he going to go for these god buildings? Could be. Yep, looks like he's going to go ahead and stop here.
This is a good pickup for them. I mean, they're hedging their bets. They're already center circle in Razak, so for Valiate, maybe he stays here by himself, at least for a while, just to see what happens with the first circle shift. But again, it's going to be a lot of teams picking these middle edge spots to see if North is going to be the play. So Georgia Pole specifically is going to be a question mark. Will Oxy try and set up a bridge camp to prevent teams breaking late to that western side? Or if Lazarus, if they set up in the Asnaya fields and just kind of chill there for a bit?
Shoot to kill running fairly low on loot at this time.
They're
Still
out
in
of position,
rotation.
man.
Yeah,
They're out of position.
They're just still trying to get something at this point, and nobody on Oxy is at a point where they can really capitalize off of it. And that was about the freest potential kills you could have drive by your conflict.
Well, Jay saying all he's got the mini to work with. I mean, he's got a ton of ammo, obviously, but he's holding down this Q position all by himself as Oxy is very split here. You know, we see him all the way as far west as the North George, all the way as far east as where White 10 Fate was holding down. So, you know, we also talk about the compound just uphill from this position that we're seeing right now. Jason going to try to get the AK shots in. Nothing really going to find its way to land
This
here.
is risky, man. Shoot to kill normally, for those of you watching at home, normally starts in either Zarky or Stallber. So the fact that it's 4.5 minutes into the game and they are still in their vehicles trying to get to Severny, you know that shoot to kill is not having the start to this game that they wanted.
Definitely not ideal, but given that Severny is in this circle, they do have a little bit more time to kind of play around with it.
They don't know that Severny isn't taken, so they're
true.
actually stopping at shooting range to do their looting. That means it's going to be a very low economy, low loot situation for them through the entirety of the game.
Maybe. You never know. I mean, with the loot setting, the settings jacked up as much as they are, they could probably come out of shooting range just fine. But still, it's well,
Shooting
you
range
know,
sucks now.
Yeah.
I mean, it does, but you know, we got this thing jacked up to 11.
I guess we'll see. But shoot to kill, I mean, they're in their element when things are going to plan. And for shoot to kill to be this late into the game, they also like to rotate early off their loot phase. So they're way behind for their play style.
Well, they're really good at looting the bodies of the people that they kill. So there's that.
Talked about why Tim Fate potentially like to come over here and get these quads. That's actually going to be Tempo Storm that's decided they're like, hey, well, maybe we can catch a couple of people here. Just a little bit of a variation coming out from them. I like it. And Oxy's Basher taking a couple of shots over towards Crow and actually gonna get the connecting down for that.
He actually had to think about it for a second. Oh, he's down. All right, great. I'm going to go down there and I guess squash him with my UAS now.
But look at Cherry Poppins going to come up here. He might spot out Basher here as he's going for this.
Oh, I was going to laugh so hard if he hit that UAZ and forced it into it.
Oh, no.
Finish it. Oh, you got to reload first, Basher. Got to, it's an important step.
All right, Basher, he's yours. You can get him. It's fine.
Oh, my God.
What is even going on? Oh, he's going to lay down underneath of it and shoot him?
This is the hardest down I've ever had. Just shoot him in the legs, man.
Shoot his feet, man. Get him. There you go. There you go.
Damn it.
Crow, you are my hero right now. You are making this so much more problematic than it needs to be, and I love every second.
I mean, he's so delicious.
Sharky stole it from him. Oh, my God.
No.
I look forward to seeing him on every highlight for the rest of time.
You don't want to be on that end of the highlight reel, Basher, but now he's in an even more difficult position because Sharky, our #1 kill leader, has just got him staring right down the barrel as Jason going to come up and try to provide a little bit of protection. But yeah, that could have gone better.
What are you going to do now? I'm caught up in this story right here. I don't care if like any of the other teams are fighting. I need to know how Basher gets out of this situation. Just going to jump in the UAZ. Sharky's looking over tail. It's a little bit of damage coming through. Are they going to crest the hilltop?
I think at this point, I just drive into the ocean. I just like, this isn't it, guys. We'll be back tomorrow.
Oh, feels bad, man. He'll rally from it. He's missing a tire here that I'm pretty sure he took out himself. But he's fully boosted. He's going to join up with the rest of their squad. They got a good position, but, shake it off, Basher. You got a whole rest of the game to play.
They're pushing right over there next to where White 10 Fate's at, so.
Can you, personally, I don't want to really ruin this, the moment here, but can you move past that as an individual? Because I would really struggle. Damn, dude, that sucks.
They'll get it. They'll be fine.
No, I'm just talking about, I'm putting myself in those shoes. I'm here to announce my formal retirement from professional PUBG.
Look, I've done way dumber stuff in my time playing this game. So, look, Basher should be fine, and they're actually just off to the east of the compound that we almost call the circle magnet for these northern things here. Felix going to take some shots here from STK. Gets about halfway down.
A lot of movement headed north at this stage. I mean, at this point now, if you're wild card, you've got all the time in the world on the southern side. Lazarus, they're coming in a hot spot. They've got Shoot to Kill a little bit to their west, and they've got Envy shooting at them in the rear there. So for Lazarus, they take a little bit of damage, but Shoot to Kill, even though they had a slow start, they find themselves with a strong 2-2 split.
Yeah, they do have Endemic all kind of surrounding them, and this is something we've been seeing from Endemic in these early parts of the game here today, especially. Just very, very spread out, very split up, trying to gain as much information about what's around them as possible before they come back together.
Beat it, nerd. Come on, I'm trying to park here.
Nerf gonna fight his way through this sniper tower as the new circle has popped, and we are going north of the river, so not really a huge surprise, but it could have been worse.
Most of the players in most teams seem to be very aware of this. Really, it's just Wild Card, Vicious Gaming, a couple of members of Ghost, and United that need to make their way inside the safe zone.
Linksy taking a scan. Ghost Gaming has arrived on the outside, but look at this. It's Lazarus poking away at Patcaps. They're going to finish him off very quickly. Lazarus has that warehouse position locked down. Envy trying to translate somewhere. I have no idea where they're trying to go here, but they're going to try and make their way into Severnia, I suppose, now. Maybe the dip just outside.
Yeah, this is an interesting rotation here from Envy, trying to make their way down. I mean, if they were intentionally going to this Severny area, you got to figure you want to steer a little bit more clear of those warehouses as they're most likely occupied at this point.
And I think they found that out the hard way.
Yeah, kind of giving up a player for free almost there. Looks like they're going to be pulling into this southern part of Severny, where Shoot to Kill is also occupying. Okay, they're going to take the ridge line.
Oh, Taylor J, that was Lazarus in a great position, and they are just capitalizing off of this so well. They're punishing every single rotate next to him. K-Mine has to be very careful. Gotta go ahead and try to get a little bit damage. Shamai jumps out to try to take him down. He's gonna get flushed out, but
drive-by.
K-Mine's gonna go down. Cloud9's taking a ton of damage. How are they gonna do anything off of this? K-Mine, I think, is just gonna get flushed out. And look at this, another shot from a different angle.
Simplicity.
This is starting to turn really bad for everybody as Simplicity is looking straight in on that.
And Y10 Fate. Y10 Fate coming in from the northwestern part of this fight as well.
They want to capitalize. Look at them. They're just hunting it down. Already taking a couple of shots, but off on the side of that, it's actually going to be Oxy's J-Sank that forces Y10 Fate to retreat and saves Cloud9.
That's going to be a big, I mean, Cloud9 took a lot of damage there. They kind of blasted through there. Unfortunately, K-Mine, you can see a little disappointed with that result. Got surprised by a wild card. Lobes also feeling the heat now as Nerf and Prof, you're going to have to carry the load for their team. And now it's going to be Noble and Y10 Fate clashing in the center of the zone.
I was going to say, Noble, I don't think that this is where you want to go right now. This is kind of a lot of very dangerous situations that are going on. A couple of shots back and forth. Really just letting each other know that they're there, but I think that Noble is just going to situate inside of that building complex and be fairly comfortable now. Well, one thing to note, in my teams that I listed that were not yet inside the safe zone, I neglected to say Space Station Gaming because they are still not inside the safe zone. They're making their way up next to Georgia Pool. You guys remember, that's nowhere near where we're at right now.
The south part of George, yeah. Looks like they're just going to trade some shots back and forth here. Y10 Fate just kind of protecting Valiant. I think Valiant was a little bit pushed up onto that compound, but Noble just kind of playing it for right now. Looks like Boom and Fudge-Go going to try to go for an angle here.
Yeah, they can hear Y10 Fate leaving, and I think they want to try and cut off or pick up a kill here, but I'm not sure where. Valiant's headed off to pick up a compound all on his own to find that center position in the circle. Y10 Fate not going to join him just yet, so that southern side.
And we're in a bush.
And I'm a bush now. No,
it's a classic endemic strategy. Go prone on the side of a hill early. Wait till the end game and kill everyone.
Speaking of which, now Venerated coming on the shooting range side. Envy struggling a little bit in their rotations, but they found themselves a decent split. But I think Venerated is going to be alone for a little while here, as maybe I guess maybe Intero and Moody are going to have to try and rejoin him.
I mean, it's a safe play to try to go to, but it's kind of dangerous the longer that it builds up because everybody's going to start trying to circle around shooting range, specifically the hills. When the circle pops that direction, just to the south of shooting range, we know teams love to play that. So really, Taro is going to have to be super cautious.
Well, and this is the area I was talking about before, these hills just to the south of shooting range. Usually we see those be such a strong area to hold, and nobody there yet is Profi. Oh, dear.
We'll
just add it. We'll add it another clip to the C9,
C9
struggles
driving
with the vehicles. Yeah, as Profi does manage to right the ship, though. But Clam, what can he do here?
And a little bit of spray back over towards Profi. Going to connect with a couple of those shots. Getting pretty low now, but Profi's starting to take shots from J-Sank on another angle. Really just one more bullet would be all it would take to down him, but just can't connect off that angle. Profi, though, is actually going to have a couple of other people to contend with, as it's going to be Extreme driving up next to him, but it's going to be also Smoking Aces on a different angle. Are they going to spot him out? They're already going for a reposition.
He's in trouble.
This area has always been, I wouldn't say always, but it's starting to be just the worst spot for Cloud9 players. If he can get away from it, oh, he's going to be
Wow, they backed off.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think they wanted.
Smoking Aces backed off?
I don't think they wanted to crest over that ridge line, expose themselves to that entire ridge. So I think for Smoking Aces, they definitely left one on the table, but had no idea that Profi, even though he's low on gas, he's still trying to make it anywhere he can. And man, that vehicle's taking damage. He's taking damage. He's almost out of gas. Press W harder, my friend.
Define won't let somebody drive by him without taking a shot at him. You can always count on Define.
To be fair, they didn't know how many
up.
vehicles, nor necessarily how many people were inside that vehicle. So, and no harm in being a little bit safe.
Sure, as you see Wildcard still trying to make their way in. Long rotation, they're going to end up coming across the boys from Space Station who have finally managed to make their way into the circle.
I wish I could get a stat for the amount of bullets were shot at Pride in this rotation. Because I think at this point it's been 4 different teams that have shot at him. Tempo Storm still not quite done with it.
Yeah, Pride is definitely feeling a little cyberbullied right now by imaginary digital bullets. As they are going to make their way into the circle, though, but they are, as I said, right behind Space Station. Space Station not hearing the engines, or maybe just not caring, wanting to get the position rather than see what's behind them, as we see Dill Hero also struggling to get in.
Shoot to Kill, I think, is actually starting to get into a little bit of a rough situation. They've got Ghost, Simplicity, Envy just to the south. Endemic just got a down and a flush onto another one of their members. They're starting to get surrounded by a ton of teams, and at this point, praying the other teams will fight each other. With Simplicity and Ghost, looks like that might be the case.
Ghost rotated along that northern side. I think they might have had an opportunity to get a little close to center, but they're pushing towards Simplicity. Got to think if you're Ghost Gaming, you're looking to pick up as many kills as you can, regardless of if it's giving up that position. For Ghost Gaming, they've had a good day. I mean, one of the best days we've seen from them so far as being active and being aggressive is concerned. But this is a rough play. We're about to see another circle shift.
It's gonna be so crazy if Shoot to Kill, low on members, somehow manage to mess with Ghost Gaming again. Look, there's just the 2 of them. They're driving in a Dacia with like 4 teams around them.
Yeah.
They're
going to shooting range, I think.
This is not preferred situation, to say the least.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try to crash this other bunker. It's unfathomably still is kind of unoccupied here. So Endemic going to take a few shots at him in passing, but right now Shoot to Kill.
What is happening with VG?
What?
They keep killing themselves. What's happening?
Oh, no.
It's like Oxy and VG caught up into a little bit of a skirmish down there. Ghost Gaming still getting a little bit more control of their territory, going to force Simplicity to, looks like they're going to live Shack life now.
Yeah, new circle popped, and Simplicity immediately hopped into those vehicles to make their way out. Ghost taking a little bit longer here.
Yeah, worst nightmare for Ghost now, because they've got the longest way to go. They're going to have to go through so many teams. There's still 16 teams alive, by the way. So they've got that 1 kill to their name, does Ghost Gaming. Simplicity in the same boat. But Envy, even though they had a nice center position, have to move all the way south.
Look, White-Team's Fate opting into that 2-2 split again, trying to get control over this area and forcing Envy back. That was a beautiful grenade coming out from Hetchor. I don't even know how many times I have said that. He is just master whenever it comes to this. So, now starting to get a little bit more control of the area. Oh, that grenade.
That's
on his head. It goes on the other side of the wall.
Oh, my God.
Off his head.
What? I've never seen that happen before.
Is that good accuracy or bad? I can't tell when it comes to grenades, but now Hypoc is going to press the action. He's on the low side. He's bounced a grenade off of Venerated, who's going to get the med off.
Interrogate gets rezzed, though, while this is all going on. So Envy back up to, well, whatever their full strength was. As you see, Moody still alive. Oh, but he's going to get taken down by Valiate.
Nice spray coming through there. So Venerated playing that outside wall. Hypoc seems like they're going to be in a 1v1. Trying to get a little bit of damage back and forth. Venerated does not connect with Hypoc. Hypoc's going to decide to play against this back wall. The rest of White Team Fate are trying to push into Envy. Hetchor is just right in the forefront, about 10 meters away from him. Really, it's just wall separating everyone. Hetchor takes a lot of damage, but it's finally going to be time for the rest of the members. This grenade is so beautiful. Lands right up on top of him. Great play coming out from Valiate. Now it's just Venerated, and he is taking a ton of damage. It's going to be Valiant starting to run forward. Look at Hetchor. They're starting to do the math. They realize it's only 1 member left. He's got the smokes out, but it's really just a matter of time. Is he going to pop up?
Watch the
Can
corner.
he do anything from it? Going to try to get the spray, but not going to get it. And that's going to be Team Envy getting eliminated in 16th place.
That might have looked a little weird, but that was 100% a distraction as one of the White 10 Fate members just flies out of cover, draws the attention away. But speaking of which, Zampa, he's got one in the open. He's trying to land some shots on the Drassel, not to be able to get it before having to hit that reload.
talked about it beforehand. Ghost a little bit later to the party than everybody else. A couple of bullets now coming their way. Keep in mind, we got Wildcard right on the other side of Tempo Storm. Looks like they're thinking about third-partying this, and yes, Pride's just gonna step right up, get the down, and not gonna be able to get everything else off of it as everybody from Tempo Storm just spins back around.
He actually did get the flush on Zampa there, so that's an unfortunate loss for Tempo Storm, but they trade efficiently, get that one back from Wildcard, and now it's just Extreme. He's living that bush life.
Ghost doing a good job of pulling off. They took the fire from Tempo and decided to wrap back towards the north. Now they're getting shot from Space Station as they try to make their way in. They're still 4 strong and they're still in a good position, but they got some fighting ahead of them.
All on the other side of this, we've got Lazarus and Simplicity. They're starting to line up next to each other. Extreme could pop up at any given point. I mean, he's just laying down inside this bush, but he can hear. He knows it's too dangerous, but Wildcard sometimes will pop up and go for that extra point. And oh my God, Extreme is inside the circle. He does not have to move. He has a member of Tempo Storm right in front of him. And now we also have Shoot to Kill. It's just driving right up next to Tempo Storm is going to get down.
Yeah, I mean, this is a situation for Extreme where he can't pop up here because there's still 14 teams alive. He doesn't know that. This is a matter of how many players are alive. But if you're Lazarus, you're getting destroyed on the edge of the zone between Noble and Simplicity, unfortunately.
I think Tempos might be hearing the shots coming from Space Station and Ghost here and going to be interested in getting involved in this fight.
Space Station's trying to make a little bit more control over this location. Tempo Storm not wanting to overextend. They're still aware that there could be a member around here, so not wanting to push up and lose another member like they did last time. But Ghost, Space Station Gaming, both just trying to get some form of control and make their way inside the circle, but really nothing can happen with it. We've got Extreme just holding this.
Yeah, we're going to have to see what's happening with Simplicity or Noble here, maybe even with Ghost Gaming, Space Station Gaming also on the northern side. For Extreme, he's not moving.
On the other side of that, we've got Uncivil, also not moving, while he's got Endemic right over here next to him. White Fate now leaving the shooting range, having to make their way up the hillside. Could also walk up right next to where Simplicity is at. So a couple of solos in a very precarious situation.
A lot of people not moving with these fights occurring on the edge of the zone with Ghost Gaming and the Space Station Gaming kind of looking at each other now. It's going to be Endemic taking those long-distance shots at Hetero and Y10 Fate, who are trying to find their way in on that northeastern side. And this is a very difficult part of the map. It's a high-low situation with that ridge line in play. And if you're Endemic, you're just trying to hold these teams out.
I mean, Endemic has a lot of control that they can play off of. Got nice sight lines. You can see something getting the down onto Hetchor. Valiant's way back in the back, was trying to provide some type of overwatch, but didn't have a good angle for it. So now we've got Simplicity, Y10 Fate, and Endemic all starting to get in close range of each other, and it looks like Y10 Fate just walked right up next to Simplicity, but Endemic still has to pay attention to Space Station Gaming back behind him.
Yeah, but now Oxy is providing support for Y10 Fate by coming from behind from Simplicity here. So Simplicity is sandwiched right now between Y10 Fate and Oxy.
This is a bit of a difficult situation. Y10 Fate having to go for the res. They have a little bit of time and space. Valiant trying to protect, but Oxy's there as well. Simplicity's getting the rough end of this fight as they're getting picked apart from behind. JSEG picking up kill after kill, but Check Shooter will not relent on the Y10 Fate.
Got Oxy that's starting to make their way back over onto this angle, so Y10 Fate trying to make a play off of it. Uncivil looking back over here. He's going to have Endemic walking back over. Finally, we do see Endemic does spot out Ghost, but a little bit of damage now coming back over on this angle. Balik's going to go down inside of this as well as Minifridge Jr. also having to make a play off of this.
Good shots coming out from Ghost. They're coming bad after this fight with Space Station. They've lost 2, but McCoy and Balak still turning their attention towards a fight that they can get involved in.
Balak and McCoy slowly making their way up the hillside. Endemic is still just trying to figure out if they can get a potential res. Check Shooter last remember for Simplicity trying to get some shots over onto this, but really it's Oxy. They're starting to make their way up on that hillside. They're going to get it down onto it. Keep in mind, that's going to be another kill. We already saw one of their members on Rampage with 5 kills already. 8 for Oxy at this point. They still have all their members up, and they're starting to get control of the north.
Yeah, they're moving through Endemic, and they've also had this great little sight line on Civil, still the solo snake. Meanwhile, we've got Endemic. It's Minifridge. He's trying to throw grenades to fend off Basher. He's trying to get away from that withering fire, but he's running out of space. Minifridge is down and out, and it's going to be Balak picking up a point there in the fray as well.
Cloud9 now caught up in a little bit of a skirmish with Smoking Aces as they're trying to make their way inside the circle to find Legit. Does manage to get a nice nade onto Nerf. Profi still holding that front position, wants to get a little bit more meds off. Smokes are coming through. Sounds like everybody's trying to get the flush back over towards Nerf. Profi now starting to creep outside of the smoke, trying to get a little bit more information, but you can see Vicious Gaming coming up back behind it. Did that bounce off of the UAZ right there as well? Oh, and there we go. To find Legit, finally manages to connect, and that's going to be Cloud9 Cloud Gaming going out in, I believe, 8th spot.
Absolutely. That was a lot of nades coming their way. And for Tempo Storm, they're down to 2, only 3 kills. And this has been the game for Oxy. They've got that northern side completely sewn up now. They're in line, but they're in line with Space Station Gaming, who's not afraid to fight back. And that's Cherry Poppins going down to VG in the back line. So now it's going to be kind of Oxy fighting with Space Station Gaming for supremacy in the north.
Yeah, well, also we have Smoking Aces really caught between 2 terrible positions, trying to run through. Oddly enough, we do see Tempo Storms looking back down towards Vicious Gaming, so that's going to give Smoking Aces a little bit of a chance to maybe recover. Define Legit looks like he's the last member up over there, but Tempo Storm is just going through making sure every single person that's over there is dead.
Little bonus ball there for the dead body.
Well, Sharu's still alive right now. Soapylicious does get finished off, and that's going to be it for Sharu as Define Legit comes in clutch for Smoking Ace is going to pick up that other kill before Tempo Storm now turning their attention his way.
Yeah, they're starting to spread out a little bit more, try to get a little bit more information. They see a lot of bodies around this spot, so they have to figure at this point, okay, whoever we're fighting is going to be weak. They see the smoke grenade come out. Now, how's Define Legit going to make a play off of this? What is he hoping to accomplish? I think he's just trying to get out and maybe try to get the meds from his teammate.
Yeah, he's just going to have to wait now because Tempo Storm is going to try and come and clean him up. There's 5 grenades in Maluke's backpack, by the way. Let's see how many he can dodge. Here they come.
All right, first one coming through. And actually, Define Legit already on the move. Smokes, it's actually going to do a little bit, actually quite a bit of damage to him. Define Legit down to about 1/5 of his life. Goes back inside of his shack. I don't think that's what you want to do, buddy. I think they're on the hunt for you right now.
Is it going to be enough?
They can't see the door. They can't see the door right now.
They're trying to spot it out. It looks like he's just trying to get down maybe a little bit more smoke off of these angles. Sharky finally does manage to spot him out, but it's going to take a lot of damage. And look at Tempo Storm just charge up into that, takes that kill, and that's going to be Smoking Aces getting eliminated. But Oxymoron moving up to 10 kills.
They've got the circle. They've got the center of the circle. They have Space Station pinned down. They know exactly where they are. They've managed to pick off Uncivil. Now they have the solo of Ghost McCoy is still left. Tempo starting to move up there. They might have a little bit of a split focus here, though.
This is another shot coming out from Jason. We've got Maluk. Gotta say, loving what we've been seeing from Oxymoron. They've been picking up kill after kill on the edge of the zone. But right now, we're watching Maluk crawl slowly along on the ground.
So with this, now they're running a 2-2 split. Maluk seems to be aware of it. Grenade's gonna land. Could do a little bit of damage. And yep, gotta get the down onto Clam. Oxy does have control over the circle, but they have to make sure they hold it as it's Tempo Storm pushing on one side. That's going to be Space Station Gaming hearing a skirmish, starting to make their way inside the circle as a crate drops right in front of him. McCoy still alive as well, but just watching all of this happen.
Yeah, McCoy just going to play it a little bit slow and quiet as now Smurf gets taken down by J-Sank. Great shots coming out of the Mini 14.
Not a lot of utility down here for Space Station. They're going to have a very hard push through the open side of this zone. J-Sank, he's been playing so well. He's got 8 kills, and he's got the line on H-Win. He's just looking for any line now. He's got the Mini at the ready. Ooh, a little bit of movement there, but not able to punish it.
Right now, it's just a matter of angles and grenades, as it's still going to be Space Station Gaming trying to creep forward just a little bit more. Tempo Storm seem to be very happy to let everybody fight it out. A little bit of skirmishes back and forth as everybody's using the smokes. At any given point, McCoy could also approach onto an angle. Look how close Oxy and Space Station Gaming are on that mini-map. Jason's trying to connect on anything that he can through the smoke, but actually it looks like he could be able to get over there and get that res up. Ashwin, that is going to be so hazardous.
I got to say, Space Station Gaming's positioning here is very rough. They're in the low ground. They're kind of proned out. No real way to react to this. They got H-Win back up. They actually have a crate delivered to them as well. That should really boost their momentum. But for Space Station Gaming, they've been trying to move forward, but J-Sank has just refused to let them gain any ground.
Basher going for a little bit of a reposition, firmly aware that somebody's next to him. McCoy
no, not like
watching.
this, J-Sank.
We talked about it. At any given point, he can just choose to come alive and pull this apart for Oxy. J-Sank has been their guy this round. He's going to retreat away from it. Keep in mind, McCoy is not inside the safe zone. Going to have to crawl forward. Space Station Gaming looks like they're going for a flank around the edge of the circle, and that could put him right up into McCoy. He's going to get the spray and try to go for the flush. Does he manage to get it?
Yeah.
Yes, he does. So that's going to be one member of Space Station Gaming going down. And look, Oxy now very aware of the fight that's happening, trying to get the spray onto it, and they do get a necessary down off of that. So Smurf on the outside angle, Win playing off the other side of it. Everybody's trying to make their approach up this hillside. It's going to be Smurf playing right next to that tree. Jason's going to spot him out, trying to get the spray off of it, not going to connect to get the down off of it. Jason playing that low side, sneaking up back behind him. Nobody expected, but look at that. Space Station Gaming not going down without a fight, and it's going to be Tempo Storm that just walks up and starts mopping this up.
J-Sank has now got the world on his shoulders. He's the last man standing. It's a 2v1 situation. Tempo Storm activated their trap card, came out of nowhere, cleaned up a bunch of kills, and now have almost secured another victory.
J-Sank just sitting there trying to think if he can get this res. Smokes are out. Tempo Storm does not see it. Usually this is a telltale sign. This is where I want to shoot. This is where I want to throw a grenade. They might be able to get it off. This is going to roll down, and it's going to do enough damage to take down Jason. J-Sank has to retreat away from this, now firmly in a 2v1. Can he do it? He's got himself 10 kills. He has been having a monster of a game, but it's Tempo Storm with 2 members up on the other side.
He's got the gear. He might be able to make it work. He's got to get that opening frag, but again, this is an uphill battle for J-Sank. These are 2 extremely capable players he's facing down.
Slowly creeping up that hillside, just looking for anything that could give him the information he needs. His teammate going down in a grenade while he was inside of smoke means that he knows near on nothing. Just trying to tap up, get a little bit more life. We are now in phase 9. Everything's going to come down to that center point on the minimap. Tempo Storm firmly in control of the territory. J-Sank looked like he's going to play along the edge, try to rotate through, prays that he can come up back behind somebody as he knows he can see it. He knows he's in a 2v1.
The most he can do here is turn this fight into a 1v1 and hope to God that maybe he doesn't lose enough health in the process.
Tempo's not going to let that happen.
No.
They're going to be stuck together at the hip here.
We've got the bouncing around. Everybody's looking around for a little bit more information. You can see Sharky and Malouk just trying to get something out of this. That's why they're jumping around, trying to see if they see anybody moving. J-Sank just slowly creeping his way up. He knows the fact that he needs to get in some type of control point for this next fight. But Sharky's starting to jump. Is he going to see his feet? J-Sank's going to throw out a smoke grenade, and that could spell disaster if they spot him out.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a bait for it? And yes, he's going to throw it long distance out and away from him, try to draw attention away from himself. Maybe they're going to take a couple of shots, give him the information he needs. If they line up on an angle for him, it could be huge. You can see Malouk doesn't take the trap, though.
Malouk's smart, man. He knows the bait smokes are a thing. So for Tempo Storm, they're just biding their time, trying to find any information.
Sharky still looking for something. J-Sank still just trying to crawl forward. Finally gonna hop up, gonna run, but Malouk doesn't see it, and I don't think that Sharky does. I think that Sharky finally did spot it out. J-Sank has a control point. Oh, look at this. Can he make the play off? There it is, 1v1. Now he's fighting 1v1. He has been having a great game. The grenade's gonna go up, do a little bit of damage. Looks like the Molotov's gonna come out, try to take down Sharky. He wants that last point at least. J-Sank's taken a lot of damage off of that. Now both slowly rotating around each other, trying to figure out where the other is. Malouk just right up on top of this hill. Oh, that's going to be the flush out coming from J-Sank. Malouk spots it out. The spray goes through. Oh my God! Oxymorons gets that with 15 kills.
Amazing solo performance from J-Sank. He secures the victory on almost no health against incredible odds. And you can see the joy on this team. They've had such a difficult journey.
The last place team just overtook the first place team off a 12-kill performance from J-Sank. Unbelievable.
J-Sank showed up big inside that round, to say the least. I believe that is the highest kill count we have seen from an NPL player so far.
An amazing solo effort. You cannot say it enough. That was incredible odds. Oxy went through team fight after team fight, getting eroded away from all sides, and ultimately J-Sank, he puts the team on his back and carries them to victory.
And keep in mind, this is the group of guys that joined playing through the qualifiers. They were just wanting to play. They just wanted to compete. Managed to fight their way into the NPL. Almost every other team here consists of people that have been playing in competitive for a year and a half. These guys just improve week after week, and they take a round win. I am super excited about that.
Absolutely excited for these guys, as finally a first place finish for Oxymoron. You can't say enough about J-Sank. 12 kills coming onto that. I mean, what was it, 15 overall in the first place? And remember how this all started. Remember how this all started.
It's a high on one side and a very, very low on the other, unfortunately, for
what's
Oxy in that
funny,
game. But
do you remember that Tempo Storm is actually who took the kill from him?
yeah, that's true.
And that's where it comes down to is
they
Tempo Storm and Oxy.
intertwined fates in that game, I would say. But
that was the moment right there.
that was it. It all comes down to that. They got the kill. They got the kill back.
Exactly. You want storylines in PUBG? Here you go. NPL, Oxymoron, and Tempo Storm. What a great game that was, boys.
I gotta say, man, he's been the heart and soul of that team, just from a pure output standpoint. He's been by far and away their best player, and on display here for sure.
I mean, that was such an underdog situation from them. There were so many fights that were happening around. Keep in mind how many full squads we saw going into that, and everybody was just picking apart Oxy on all these different angles. He had to fight his way through that tooth and nail.
Absolutely.
I gotta say, hopefully we have him standing by, but we got Oxymoron down on the stage with Rachel.
Oh, you know it, guys. We had to get J-Sank down here on the stage. The win for Oxymoron. Definitely a team effort, but definitely also a J-Sank effort.
Yeah.
Let's break it down from the very beginning. Let's relive every aspect of this glorious match, inch by inch. You started off in the Northwest by Georgia, right?
Yes.
What was the thought on that drop?
I mean, it's just our typical drop. Teams are kind of, aiming at us. We're at the bottom, kind of thinking we're free points. But I just hope this game, shows people. But the thought behind Northwest is it's just home, We go to North George, and that's where we'll be from now on. So.
Well, the boys from North George worked their way all the way across this map. Mid-game, you guys really started racking up the kills.
Yeah.
Was there a moment that you guys thought we have the momentum to win this?
We knew our boys at Noble were at the Invisibles just to our east. I killed Boom, and that started it. It hurt my heart a little bit because we're boys, but it's competition, so that's how it is. And then we knew Simplicity, YTM, Fate, Ghost, all the a lot of the big names were up there, and we got nothing to lose. One of the last games of the season, let's go for it, man. And I had the 8x suppressed mini, and I just I wasn't missing.
You talk about the end of the season, you talk about things changing up. What, from your perspective, was the biggest difference in the games that you guys have played all season long versus what you're bringing this weekend?
We were very scared. We weren't scared, but we were definitely tentative. We were very passive. No one even expected us to be here, but we earned it for, we're here for a reason, and it's nice that we can finally prove that. But we've been fighting in scrims, winning fights, winning scrim games, and overall lobbies, and we just said, let's go after it, man. Let's have some fun. Let's get some kills, and that's all it took. So.
Does this new style feel right? Is this the new Oxy now?
Oh my gosh, I hope so. If that game doesn't show what, of course, I fragged out, but I always say, if you put me up there alone without my 3 teammates, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. So. And that's what it is.
Oh, you got more than just teammates in the stands. You have one of those dedicated cheer sections I think I've seen at NPL.
Yeah, for sure.
Any shout-outs you guys want to give here?
Just family, friends, Clams family that comes out to visit us twice a week, every single week. It truly means a lot, and I'm very happy to be here.
It sounds like you have an amazing team. You guys did a wonderful job today, and we still have a whole day of competition tomorrow. But for now, I'm going to give it back up to the casters to wrap up today.
Wow. I got to say, what a class act, man. Like J-Sank, clearly a round of applause from everyone in the crowd here. An amazing performance in the game, but I got to say, not only does he solidify himself as an excellent player, but clearly the best interview candidate we have here as well.
I love that. Like, I don't know. Not afraid to show emotions. Talking about his friends, talking about his friends on other teams.
Yeah. Class act.
Saying,
25 points, man.
You want me
Hey,
over,
look,
man. I love you.
At the end of the day, no matter what happens this split for Oxymoron, no matter what happens as far as the team goes, they'll never be able to take this one away from them. They came in first place. J-Sank had one of the most individually impressive performances that we've seen this entire split.
I mean, amazing. We can't say enough about it, but I mean, Tempo Storm, they find a way.
Again, every single
points,
time. Every single time.
Never count out Tempo. I mean, they're like, yeah, everyone clap for him, but guess what? We're still first place.
I mean,
Well, what are you gonna
they're
do?
living the life right now, getting themselves a firm position. So with this, let's take a look at our top 16. We've got Ghost, E-United, Vicious Gaming, Oxymorons jumping up a couple of spots, and then Lazarus and Noble.
Ghost coming back and taking that spot, 11th spot back from E-United with 181 points. We have to see how far out of 10th they still are going into this final day.
Yeah, Ghost Gaming had a pretty solid day today. I think that they kind of fell into some of the same traps we've seen them fall time and time again, but they're only 4 points out of 10th place.
Okay.
Simplicity didn't have a good day today, so Ghost actually closes the gap. That's big for them. Simplicity's got to be feeling the heat now.
And look, I mean, Endemic only 8 points above that. So, I mean, look, there's a lot of teams here. 8 through 10 cannot be resting on their laurels here, essentially. They have to be worried about the people nipping at their heels tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And we still have YTEM Fate that is trying so hard to move up into that top 4 bracket right there at the tip.
There it is, Tempo Storm. Again, 320 points, followed by Shoot to Kill, and very closely there by Cloud9 as well. And it's Envy looking back at YTEM Fate, a very small gap now.
I mean, Tempo almost bringing it back up to another 50-point lead that they had after their I say quote-unquote bad week last week, and they're right back up. I mean, what can you even say about this team anymore that hasn't been said?
It's unrelenting. They're always at the top. It always feels like they're always in the top 5. Whenever we say, oh, Tempo had a bad game, oh, it's because they got like 4 kills and went out in 7th place.
I mean,
it's just crazy.
Yeah, to be able to rebuild that lead after having it eroded away just shows you just the Tempo doesn't shake. It does, like, okay, we have a bit of a bad week here and there, but you know, that first overall position, but this is a lot closer for the top 4 and for relegation than I expect that we'd be seeing at the end of today.
I mean, I love Tempo Storm, but I still like that interview from Jay saying, I just love it.
It's one
of my favorite things to do is see like somebody come up and just like finally get that win. I love underdog stories.
You know, I guess I don't want to take over here, but at the same time, it's like we, as a community, we're fighting upwards here, man. Like, you know, we have this a small community of PUBG enthusiasts playing in competitive, and to have these guys come up through open competition and make it here to this stage just speaks to how special it is for them to stand up there on that stage and everyone here at the arena. So I guess with that said, any final thoughts, Poro?
The path to pro is well trodden, and you got some big shoes to fill behind you in Oxymoron, boys.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys, everyone, for watching PUBG Esports in the NPL here at the OGN Super Arena. We have got one more day in the split. We'll see you tomorrow.
Nothing in my way.